Frameshift drive charging. Frameshift drive charging. System scan complete. Frameshift drive charging. Critical. Frameshift drive charging. Critical. Frameshift drive charging. Frameshift drive charging. Frameshift drive charging. Four, three, two, one. Frameshift drive charging. Four, three, two, one. Scan detected. Scan detected. request denied. Docking request granted. Warning, landing gear not deployed. Landing gear deployed. Successful. Engines disengaged. drive charging. Frameshift drive charging.
Isla hosts theatre and dance gala. The Alliance Festival of Culture has entered its 5th week, focusing on a wide variety of theatre and dance performances. Crowds have flocked to New Caledonia in the Isla system to enjoy performance art from dozens of systems. Shows ranging from elaborate stage productions to amateur street recitals have offered classical operas, circus shows, theatrical plays and much more. Art critic Brian E. Lindholm published this review on Vox Galactica. While the entertainment on display has been nothing short of marvelous, a personal favorite has been the ballet Bones of Dreams. It is performed by skeletal robot dancers made of scraps salvaged from the Isla orbital graveyard. It is a moving portrayal of inhumanity, and like most of the audience, I was left in tears despite, or perhaps because of the absence of any sentient organisms depicting grand themes of grief and loss. The Alliance Festival of Culture continues next week in Alioth and will feature a presentation at the Garden City Gallery. Starship Enterprises launches mining campaign. The Starship Enterprises faction has issued a public request for mined resources. SE Mining, a subdivision of Starship Enterprises, requires materials to construct a specialized installation in the LP-3397 system. The proposed starport will serve as a departmental headquarters while also providing services to travelers in the region. Dr. Lewis Chapman, CEO of Starship Enterprises, announced, "There has long been a rift between our system's prosperous inner worlds and the less wealthy outer gas giants. SE Mining will bridge this divide with a new asteroid base among the rings of the fourth planet, which will generate trade to benefit the entire system. SE Mining has been the backbone of my company since its inception. It has seen us through hard times and continues to be one of the corporation's most important assets. I believe a new base of operations is a fine way to reward the division's hard work. Independent pilots are asked to mine quantities of osmium, samarium, uraninite, monazite and platinum for delivery to Gelman Ring in the LP-3397 system. The initiative will run from the 22nd to the 28th of August 3305. If the final target is met earlier than planned, the campaign will end immediately." Food delivery initiative concludes successfully. A campaign to deliver food commodities to the Chamas system has been declared a success by its organizers. The Fortune's Corsairs' efforts to acquire various foods for a glamorous reception were well received. The event, attended by various system officials, appears to have achieved its aim. Silas James of the Chamash Foods conglomerate released the following statement. "Due to the overwhelming support from Fortune's Corsairs and other independent traders, the delicious feast helped make our fundraiser a tremendous success. Construction of the new asteroid base will begin immediately. Contributors to the initiative can now collect their awards from Denton Dock in the Chamas system." Week in Review. Here are this week's main stories. The Alliance Festival of Culture has entered the Olgria system this week with a celebration of literature. Fans of both modern and classical fiction gathered to discuss their favorite novels and meet popular authors. The Fortune's Corsairs faction has organized an initiative to transport food commodities to the Chamas system. A fundraiser supporting efforts to construct an asteroid base in the system is scheduled for next week, with a grand feast advertised as the main attraction. And those are the main stories this week. Fiction fans gather for literary event. A celebration of literature at H.G. Wells Terminal in the Olgria system is the focus of the fourth week of the Alliance Festival of Culture. Leighton Farris reported on the event for the Alliance Tribune. Devotees of both modern and classic fiction have gathered to celebrate a shared love of literature and meet their favorite authors. The event is also an opportunity for writers to promote their work and attract new readers. One highlight has been local author Hannah Darrold releasing a novel titled Chronicles of Olgria. The book concerns a local author releasing a novel during a literature festival, and has become an instant bestseller in the metafiction category. Fans of the wildly popular Corsair King series expressed hope for an appearance by Olav Redcourt, but he remains in seclusion working on his science fiction novel. A spokesperson for Bone Spire Publishing suggested Redcourt is risking financial ruin by trying to resuscitate a dead genre. Nobody reads science fiction anymore. Food delivery initiative in the Chamas system. The Fortune's Corsairs faction has organized an initiative to transport food commodities to the Chamas system. A fundraising event has been organized as part of efforts to greenlight the construction of a new asteroid base. Many of the system's elected officials are expected to attend the grand feast, prepared by the most eminent chefs in Chamas. Silas James, representing the Chamash Foods conglomerate, announced, "We feel that nothing but the finest foodstuffs from the inner Orion Spur should be on hand for this momentous occasion. Couriers are invited to play their part in helping the region towards an era of prosperity. A request has been made for independent traders to deliver fruit and vegetables, fish, grain and synthetic meat to Denton Dock in the Chamas system. The initiative is scheduled to run from the 15th to the 21st of August 3305. If the final target is met earlier than planned, the campaign will end immediately." Week in Review. Here are this week's main stories. Expansion of the Witchhead Enclave has continued with the installation of 7 planetary ports. Focus has turned to supporting the influx of new colonists. Now that access to meta-alloys in the region has been secured, it is hoped that the new ports will accelerate ongoing efforts to repair the starports damaged in recent Thargoid attacks. In related news, new engineer Chloe Sedesi has opened for business at one of the new planetary facilities, Cinderdock. Sedesi's services have been complemented by a tech broker and material trader, available at Bray Landing and Ratchet Hub respectively. Finally, the Alliance Festival of Culture has entered its third week with a music festival in the Vector system, which organizers have called the greatest gig in the galaxy. The lineup includes a mix of established and new talent, with a one-off performance by legendary artist Siona considered the highlight. And those are the main stories this week. The greatest gig in the galaxy. The Alliance Festival of Culture enters its third week with a massive music festival in the Vector system drawing thousands of attendees. Organizers are calling the event the greatest gig in the galaxy. Corinne McIntyre, cultural correspondent for the Alliance Tribune, reported. The program is certainly diverse, encompassing everything from megastars like Spectacular Nemesis and Jade Graceland to up-and-comers such as The Lasting Hold. Meanwhile, for those whose knowledge of contemporary music stops with Mahler, the Topaz Philharmonic is one of several orchestras performing this week. But the big news is that legendary singer-songwriter Siona is coming out of retirement for a special one-off performance. The Alliance Festival of Culture will continue for a further 4 weeks. Witchhead planetary ports established. Humanity's expansion into the Witchhead Nebula has continued with the introduction of 7 planetary ports. 6 ports now occupy systems surrounding the existing enclave. The Alliance, Federation and Empire have each established 2 ports, strengthening the presence of their representative factions. The 7th port, Cinderdock, is located in Witchhead Sector DLYD-17. Professor Albert Tesro of Aegis Research provided some additional details. A facility managed by the engineer Chloe Sedesi has been installed at Cinderdock. The engineering blueprints available at the facility offer upgrades to frame shift drives and thrusters. Following last-minute discussions held aboard the megaship Spirit of Minue, a tech broker and material trader have also agreed to bring their services to the planetary ports. These contacts are located at Bray Landing and Ratchet Hub respectively. With these new resources available ahead of schedule, we hope to accelerate the ongoing efforts to repair the starports damaged during recent Thargoid assaults. Ezra Point is the first to declare itself fully functional, with all standard services back online. Further installations have been planned over the coming weeks, as migration continues to bring new opportunities and financial investment to the Enclave. These achievements are founded on the tireless efforts of many independent pilots, said Tesro. Their bravery and dedication were key factors in securing humanity's access to meta-alloys within the Witchhead Nebula. On behalf of Aegis, I offer these pilots my deepest gratitude. Further migration to Witchhead Nebula. The human enclave in the Witchhead Nebula has attracted thousands of migrants looking for a fresh start. One of those heading to the area is Chloe Sedesi, a former apprentice of Professor Ishmael Palin. She gave an interview to Leon Banerjee for Vox Galactica. I've been working with the professor for years now, and he's taught me so much about rejigging modules to improve their function. He might come across as a bit serious, but Ishmael's actually a total sweetheart, although he'll probably frown at me for saying that. I'd been thinking about striking out on my own for a while, and the creation of the Witchhead Enclave seemed like a good opportunity to do just that. All those independent pilots have done so much for the new Enclave, I thought it'd be good to offer a little support. Sedesi is currently overseeing the installation of a facility at Cinderdock in Witchhead Sector DLYD-17, which will offer engineering services similar to those previously offered at the Palin Research Center. It has also been confirmed that a tech broker and a material trader will be offering their services in the Witchhead Nebula, once the region's starports have been returned to full functionality. Week in Review. Here are this week's main stories. Thargoid forces in the Witchhead Nebula have been defeated. A call to arms from Aegis Research received a considerable response from independent pilots, leading to a victory for humanity. The official establishment of a human enclave in the Witchhead Nebula was declared shortly afterwards. Professor Albert Tesro has asked the galactic community to assist with station repairs in the area. Professor Palin and his staff have finished installing equipment at Able Laboratory on Arc 4E. The engineering services formerly available at the Palin Research Center are now available in the ARC system, along with any modules held in Palin's storage facility. The Alliance Festival of Culture focused on the Leasty system this week. A celebration of cinematic art was held at George Lucas Station, featuring a wide range of traditional and interactive media. In related news, the decision to stage the Alliance Festival of Culture opening ceremony in Lathe has drawn a mixed reaction from residents. Supporters highlighted Lathe's decades-old membership of the Alliance, while critics have called the ceremony a political gesture aimed at the ruling independent faction. And finally, the Federal Intelligence Agency's campaign against the Red Family cartel has drawn to a close. While seen as a successful operation, Kingpin Oberon Church remains at large. Investigations continue regarding cartel co-founder Jens Sandoval's death while in FIA custody. And those are the main stories this week. Controversy at Film Festival. The Leasty system played host to the second week of the Alliance Festival of Culture, where a new film production has caused minor controversy. The Alliance Tribune's cultural correspondent Corinne McIntyre offered these details. A grand celebration of cinematic art took place at George Lucas Station, featuring a wide range of traditional and interactive media from dozens of systems. The talking point was undoubtedly Unity, a historical drama from award-winning director Hal Raskin. It portrays Alliance founders Mick Turner and Meredith Argent as rivals who fake their romance to rally political support. More traditionalist audiences, and not a few critics, took issue with the suggestion that the couple's love was fraudulent, while others applauded it as bold and challenging. But this lively debate did nothing to dampen spirits at the event, which drew appreciative crowds. The Alliance Festival of Culture is scheduled to continue over the next 5 weeks. Red Family operation concludes. The Federal Intelligence Agency has declared that its campaign against the Red Family cartel is drawing to a close. As observed by Ethan Takahashi, crime correspondent for the Federal Times. In terms of effective action, this has to be considered a great victory for the FIA. A series of coordinated strikes against the Red Family delivered a mortal blow, and the cartel's super addictive narcotic was destroyed before it could be mass-produced. While Kingpin Oberon Church remains at liberty, it is unlikely that he could ever rebuild his empire. Still, losing one of the most wanted criminals in the Federation must be frustrating for the agency. Internal investigations continue regarding Jens Sandoval's death in custody. No conclusive evidence has been uncovered, but many believe that Sandoval could not be reached without the assistance of FIA personnel. It is not unreasonable to assume that individuals within the FIA have been bought by Church, said Takahashi. Lathe citizens comment on festival. As the first week of the Alliance Festival of Culture draws to a close, Lathe residents have shared mixed feelings about the decision to stage the opening ceremony in their home system. Clearly this was a political gesture from Edmund Mahone, said Grady Chen, an independent journalist speaking at Lathe Station. An independent faction rules Lathe now. There was military conflict here just last year. Yet we have Alliance leaders trying to garner support despite losing control of the system. It's blatant propaganda. Sarai Messima, a financial consultant, offered a different opinion when interviewed in the Orange Sidewinder. Lathe has been an Alliance system for decades. We lived by the Alliance's ethos for a couple of generations, you know. Sure, we've got Lathe Radio in control of the system now, but that doesn't change who we are, or what makes us Lathians. A spokesperson for Lathe Radio, Dr. Alan Stroud, provided the following statement. It was quite a surprise that the organizers decided to open the festival in Lathe, but I guess they see things the same way we do. We're all just trying to get along, and there's much to celebrate about the Alliance, regardless of whether your system is a current or former member. I'm looking forward to Lathe welcoming as many visitors as possible. Come for the festival, the brandy, the radio station, or one of our many other attractions, and we'd be delighted to host you. Enclave established in Witchhead Nebula. Recent reports from the Witchhead Nebula indicate that the Thargoid forces in the region have been defeated. The initial call to arms from Aegis Research was met with an overwhelming response from independent pilots, who were able to push back Thargoid incursions from the new human colonies. Admiral Aidan Tanner, Chief Military Liaison for Aegis, said, "Humanity has achieved a decisive victory in the Witchhead Nebula. Significant numbers of Thargoid vessels were destroyed in the conflict, Even as many independent pilots were lost. But the sacrifice of these brave souls was not in vain, for the enemy has been forced to withdraw. While the threat of occasional incursions from Thargoid craft remains, our colonial assets have been firmly established in the region. Professor Albert Tesro of Aegis Research look to the future. The Alliance Empire and Federation have declared that the Witchhead Nebula is now an official enclave of humanity, a region that their joint efforts have enabled them to share equally. But the damage inflicted on our new starports must be repaired before we can harvest the barnacle sites in the area. Independent pilots have already given so much, and for that I am humbled and thankful. And yet, we must ask for one last favor, to support the repair of these starports. A new home for Professor Palin. Professor Ishmael Palin has established a permanent base of operations in the Arc system. Aegis Research confirmed the news with a statement from Professor Albert Tesro. Having fled the Mayo system, Professor Palin and his staff have installed their equipment at the Planetary Portable Laboratory on Arc 4E. All of the engineering services previously offered by Professor Palin are now available at his new location. His study of meta-alloys and other Thargoid-related materials has also resumed. The megaship Carson Spring, which facilitated an emergency evacuation of the Palin Research Center, has left the Arc system to resume other duties. Week in review. Here are this week's main stories. Thargoid forces have entered the Witchhead Nebula in response to human colonization efforts in the area. Professor Albert Tesro of Aegis Research has urged independent pilots to engage Thargoid vessels in the nebula and ensure that the superpowers can establish bases close to nearby meta-alloy sites. In related news, Professor Palin has successfully relocated with his team to the Arc system. Palin's megaship, Carson Spring, was able to fend off a number of Thargoid assaults and complete its scheduled journey. Palin's team is currently working to establish a permanent base of operations in the system. Jens Sandoval, co-founder of the Red Family Cartel, has been found dead in a Federal Intelligence Agency safe house. Autopsy reports confirm that a highly specialized neurotoxin was the cause of death. No suspects have been detained, but it is believed that the remaining Red Family leadership arranged the assassination. And finally, the Alliance Festival of Culture has been inaugurated by Prime Minister Edmund Mahone. The festival will tour a number of Allied systems over the next 7 weeks, highlighting a range of artistic and cultural achievements. And those are the main stories this week. Alliance Festival of Culture begins. Prime Minister Edmund Mahone has announced the start of the Alliance Festival of Culture, a series of events taking place across 7 systems. The Alliance Tribune's cultural correspondent Corinne McIntyre provided a summary of the festival. This 7-week tour of Alliance space will begin at the Fine Art Emporium on Lathe. We have been promised that a wide range of artistic achievements, entertainment and history will be highlighted. Naturally, the Tribune will be offering in-depth coverage over the course of the festival. The Prime Minister was visibly pleased to introduce the Alliance Festival of Culture, describing it as a celebration to lift citizens' spirits in these challenging times. It has been speculated that Mahone is hoping to move forward from the recent political scandals involving Gibson Kincaid. The centerpiece of the opening ceremony was a tribute to Megan Madigan, widely considered one of the most significant visual artists of the late 33rd century. Her most famous work, titled Penance Street, was tragically lost in transit 60 years ago. The much-loved painting was honored by modern reinterpretations from dozens of Lathe's finest artists. Cartel leader killed. Jens Sandoval, co-founder of the Red Family Cartel, has died while in the custody of the Federal Intelligence Agency. Executive Agent Viola Trask made the following statement. I regret to announce that Jens Sandoval has been found dead in the safe house where she was being held. An autopsy revealed traces of a highly sophisticated neurotoxin that our security measures were unable to detect. We have yet to determine how the neurotoxin was administered, or how the individual responsible accessed the safe house. Internal investigations are underway, but we suspect that the assassin has already fled the Sol system. It is believed that surviving elements of the Red family arranged this second, successful attempt on Sandoval's life in response to her cooperation with the Federal Intelligence Agency. The FIA's operation against the cartel will continue, but the loss of its primary intelligence source has to be considered a significant setback. Tionisla hosts theater and dance gala. The Alliance Festival of Culture has entered its fifth week, focusing on a wide variety of theater and dance performances. Crowds have flocked to New Caledonia in the Tionisla system to enjoy
deployed. Successful. Engines disengaged.
Shutdown on instinct 3 is in effect.
Incoming message. Incoming message. Incoming message. Frameshift drive charging. Four, three, two, one, engage. Frameshift drive charging.